NFL Week 16 came and went. We saw some great matchups. I was 2 for 3 on my picks. However, spiritually, I am 3 for 3 on my picks because I chose every winner of each game correctly. So, getting into the first game, I chose Rams at Seahawks. I chose the Seahawks minus 1.5. That did not unfortunately hit, only because the Seahawks only won by 1 point overtime. Great game, fantastic game. Seahawks going for the win for the 2 point conversion. It was an instant classic and one of the best games of this regular season. Now, the big story out of this game is more on the Seahawks side rather than the Rams. I think a lot of people still, even after this game, still favor the Rams to win it all. I mean, they're the most complete team, I would say. You got an MVP level quarterback. He did play like an MVP in that game as well. Almost or over 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Played absolutely incredibly. The biggest difference from the last matchup that the Rams and Seahawks had was that Seattle was able to run the ball in this game, and they were able to get yards on first down. The very first matchup, I was very frustrated with the way the Seattle was not able to move the ball downfield, and a lot of that was because their first down efficiency was very poor. They got into a lot of third and long situations. Our first game, that was not the case this game. This game, they were able to get decent yardage on first down, making second down and third down a lot more manageable. And that was really the difference from the last matchups. And the Rams also got held in the red zone. They are normally really, really good in red zone offense, and they got held to field goals multiple times. I believe it was 4 times they went for field goals. 3 out of the 4 they made. On the other side of the ball, the Seattle for offense, Sam Darnold, even though he did have a couple interceptions, and I think he also had a fumble, I believe it was, on those interceptions that he threw, it was more of a great defensive scheme rather than Sam Darnold just throwing bad picks. He just did not see those defenders. It was great scheme. Those defenders came out, backed up out of nowhere, or they just dropped out of man coverage. It was great defensive scheme and really threw Sam Darnold off, and arguably it would have thrown a lot of quarterbacks off. So I'm not too worried about those interceptions that Sam Darnold threw. As NFL fans, I think we would love to see this matchup again in the playoffs. If it happens again, it would be absolutely awesome. I believe both of these teams are capable of reaching the Super Bowl and representing the NFC. Now, what's next for both teams? The Rams and the Seahawks, pretty much the same. Just win the remaining games and secure your spot at the top. The Seahawks now control their own destiny. They are able to win out, and secure that number 1 seed. Next game, the Packers at the Bears. I chose the Bears plus 1.5. This was going to be a close game, and the Bears just won outright in overtime, another overtime game. This game was absolutely crazy. The Packers had the momentum, controlled their own destiny until the last pretty much 3 minutes of the game, where the Bears charged down the field, hit that field goal, just made it for a 1-possession game, and then the Bears got that onside kick. Crazy events. It does suck that Jordan Love got injured or got that concussion during this game. However, I did think that Malik Willis, the backup that came in for the Packers, backup quarterback, did absolutely exceptional, and it threw the Bears off defensively because you could tell they were not ready for that dual threat quarterback that Willis brought to the table. He was able to run very effectively, use his legs against the Bears very, very effectively. On the Bears side, offensively, Caleb Williams looked very comfortable in the pocket without Micah Parsons. I know there's a lot of momentum with the Bears right now, and that was a big story in that overtime win. But Packers specifically, I think the big thing there was they really, really felt that void that Micah Parsons left behind with his season-ending injury, tore his ACL, unfortunately, because Caleb Williams was able to sit in the pocket. He was not pressured pretty much at all during this entire game, so he was able to sit back, sling it, and ultimately create some great moments, great games, or great plays that ultimately won the Bears the game. And the Bears executed well in overtime. Injuries on both sides, unfortunately, during this game could affect a little bit of their next few games and maybe the postseason. We will see. And the Bears, even though they did have a little bit of an iffy defense, they had great corner coverage in the red zone, and that really prevented a few touchdowns that the Packers could have had, and really kind of won this game earlier rather than, doing the whole onside kick thing. For the Malik Willis, I think that is a very interesting prospect for the Packers. Of course, Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback for the Packers, but I'm saying more that some teams will see that film and they'll be very, very interested in Malik Willis. This will probably be an extended topic that I may talk about later. But teams like the Vikings, Raiders, Colts, Chiefs, Commanders, to name a few, at least while they find their franchise quarterback, or in the Chiefs' case, until Mahomes comes back, that they'll want to have a quarterback like Malik Willis. He played outstanding in that game. Did not look phased at all coming into the game as backup quarterback. He did get injured, unfortunately, in that game as well. So we'll see what the Packers are able to do to potentially close out or secure that playoff spot. The Packers, what's next for them is secure that playoff spot. They just need, I believe, one more victory or the Lions to lose a game, and that should be it, I believe. The Bears just win one more game. The Bears, if you win one more, you win the division, I believe, and just prepare for the playoffs. Get that seeding. Last game here, the Patriots. I chose the Patriots +3 at the Ravens. This was a game where I was not sure why the Ravens were favored here. I know the Patriots lost to the Bills the week prior, but I did not understand why the Ravens were favored by a touchdown. This was an interesting spread to me, and this was a no-brainer. The Patriots are just the more complete team at the moment. Even in this game, I think there is a little bit of... We saw glimpses of the classic Ravens, especially in that first half. The run game was exceptional, more specifically Derrick Henry. Lamar's pocket passing was incredible as well, at least before he got injured and got taken out of the game. Lamar at some points had some QB designated runs that created some great plays as well. The defense on the Ravens were creating turnovers. The interception that they got and the fumble that they got from Drake May, I think, were a little bit of the classic Ravens, modern Ravens at least, that we are so used to seeing. And we saw glimpses of that. However, the Patriots are just too difficult to stop offensively. Drake May did incredible distributing the ball. And a little bit more on Drake May here. I did not think he had a great game by his standards. Now, it's a little bit on expectation here. My expectation is I've been hearing, and I haven't watched a lot of Drake May, but I've been hearing through these weeks, through this entire season, that he's, kind of the second coming of Tom Brady. He's MVP he's an MVP candidate and playing like an MVP. So by that kind of expectation, at least in my perspective, he did not have a great game. He didn't have a bad game. He just had a good game. He had one interception, one fumble. So those are 2 turnovers to Drake May's name in that game, but he still had 380 yards. So he made up for it in the air. That's just a good game. That's not a great game in my perspective for Drake May. And additionally, some throws that he threw in that game could have been intercepted. I remember 2 specific examples, but there were probably more where he threw it on the wrong side of the receiver where the defender was, and the defender, could have gotten that ball, but they didn't. However, the most important thing, I think, at least in my perspective, when I see Drake May play, is that it looks like he is never straining at all during any play or any kind of physical activity he's doing. What I mean by that is when he's scrambling, when he's throwing deep, there's no jitters in his read. He's not anxious. He looks calm, composed, does not look nervous at all. He is just playing the game like he sees it. He trusts his eyes, trusts his teammates. That is a franchise quarterback right there. And we will see how Drake May does in the playoffs. I'm kind of excited to see what he's able to do in the playoffs in these big games. The Patriots were able to stop the Ravens' run game. This is something I actually got incorrect in my predictions or in my picks. I said the Patriots would be able to stop the Ravens' run game. That was not true because they were not able to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 18 carries. Those 18 carries, he got 128 yards. Exceptional efficiency there by Derrick Henry. And I don't know why. And this is a question a lot of people are asking, but why the Ravens took out Derrick Henry? The last time he touched that ball in that game was when he ran in for a touchdown. At the end of the game, he was out of it. Don't know why. And the game completely changed whenever he was at running back and he was running those run plays. You could see it. It was very, very difficult for the Patriots to stop him in that game. The Patriots do play with energy, though. That is something I did like as well. Offense, defense, all the players look like they're having a lot of fun there, playing their hearts out. That is a team that is very exciting to watch each game, and we're going to see them in the playoffs and see how they do as a team in these next few weeks as well. So what's next? I think for the Patriots to clinch the number 1 seed, they must win out, and the Broncos need to lose one. That is possible, although I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. The Patriots have the Jets and Dolphins next. There should be wins, considering the level that the Patriots are at right now. The Broncos, on the other hand, have Kansas City next, but the Broncos should win that one. Kansas City is not obviously good at the moment, but then they end with the Chargers. That one might be a little bit interesting, but I wouldn't necessarily count on the Broncos losing that game. So overall, I think the Patriots just need to win those 2 games, prepare for the postseason, and see where they end up after the playoffs. The Ravens, on the other hand, it's more about the offseason and their future. They're not going to win the division. Honestly, if you were in that building or a Ravens fan, you'd probably see it the same way. You'll need a new head coach. Harbaugh has been there a long time, and even through these years with Lamar, and especially this year, it was Super Bowl or bust, or at least make the AFC Championship. They're not even making the playoffs. It is massively disappointing for the Baltimore. And this is a team I've been wanting to see succeed as well through these years, especially who they have at quarterback, running back, and just the talent they have overall on the field. I was hoping for a lot more from the Ravens. Unfortunately, I think they'll have to switch it up, change culture, change a little bit of, get a breath, I'm saying this incorrectly, a breath of fresh air with a new head coach and just start a little bit fresh. Also, I think the number 1 priority for the Ravens this offseason should be securing O-linemen, get better protection for Lamar. Lamar has been dealing with injuries, and if you're able to protect Lamar for a bit longer during the game, during these plays, we wouldn't see him injured. He'll be able to do a little bit more of a pocket passing that he's been exceptional at least this game as well, before he got taken out of the game. But at the end of this game, it's a little bit of malpractice that happened by the Ravens, taking out Derrick Henry, especially with the backup quarterback and Huntley in the game as well. I know you want to trust that backup quarterback, but you want to be able to help him as much as possible in order to secure this game. It's a big game against the Patriots. I just do not see why you take out Derrick Henry. I know there's like a schematic reason why he's not a receiving running back, all these things, but we saw in the game, he was in the game, hard to stop him on the run. Oh well, what are we going to do about it? So that is the recap for week 16. I will see you for week 17 picks.